Alright, so today we're going to do the jump exercise. Right, so before your character start to jump off, we talk about anticipation, where the character needs to build the tempo, prepare the audience before doing the main action. Right, so the character is going to jump forward. So before jumping forward, you would want to pose the character moving back before the main jump. Okay, so I'm going to start the first pose. Right, you want to pose the character. You want to set T first. Okay, I'm going to off this one. Okay, so we don't want the character to look like one-legged from the side view, so we're gonna just spread it a little bit and position it. Great, so before the character to jump forward, you might want to do some acting of your choice. Maybe he wants to just lean forward, and maybe he wants to take a look. Right, so you got him leaning forward, take a look. And then going back. So lean forward. And hold a little bit. Okay. So lean forward, hold a little bit. And then he does anticipation. So you got him leaning forward, take a step back for the anticipation. So I'm just going to pose it so that it's not symmetrical. So he leans back, twist a bit more. Goes forward, just a bit more. Start to tilt. Okay, so during the shift down, you again you want it to go down, just like your bouncing ball exercise. So there's a down and up, right? So you're down, up, and hold the anticipation a little bit. Or we want to straighten the leg. So tilts forward, goes down and up. So I'm going to fix the down and up. Okay, so then it's gonna start to jump off. Okay, so if you recall your bouncing ball, again the stretch pose for this. This stretch pose. So your leg must be fully extended. Respirate. So I'm just blocking the poses in. And I'm also checking the time while I'm doing that. So if you recall the jump exercise, the leg must be fully extended when you contact. So similar to the walk, right? So this is the contact pose. So this leg must be fully extended. This a bit. Okay, so after the first leg is fully extended, the second leg needs to be fully extended. It needs straight leg. Straight. right? So we have a blocking of just a jump, right? So this is called spine blocking, right? So the timing is very rough, but you get the idea, right? The poses, as in, okay, it's going to take one step back, it's going to look forward, take one step back, jump, and then take one step, right? So blocking, the word blocking usually for animation means the first pass, where you suggest the idea to your lead or your supervisor or director. So whether he wants one step or you want two step or three step, and also to verify the timing, right? So after I can fine tune, okay, so this is called spine blocking, right? So where I key everything together. So you see my graph that the keys are all kind of flush together, right? So you can see that right, so you can see that all the stuff here is together, all the stuff here is together, right? So I only got the root and the legs done. I haven't done the toes. Alright, so in animation there's the spine blocking, which is what you see here, and there's also the step blocking. So when you select all this and switch on to step, and you play. Alright, so this is called step blocking. Okay, let me just pull a little bit more so you can see the end. Okay, so this is like your 2D animation, if you recall. So you did all the major poses, you record the timing, and then you show and propose to your supervisor. Right, so this is called step blocking. S-T-E-P-P-E-D. Step. S-T-E-P-P-E-D. Okay, blocking. Alright, so depending on the studio, some studio likes step blocking, some studio prefer spine blocking. Alright, so depending on the pipeline of the company. Make sense? Alright, so this is step blocking. So step blocking is much faster to produce, and to do the correction is much easier. Because your supervisor will see that, they will tell you like, hey, the jump is not high enough. Then you can just go in there and pull it higher, or the jump is too high, and you can pull the up post lower. Okay, so step blocking and spine blocking. So if you want to go back to spine, again, select all these guys here and set here, there. Okay, so if I play again, so spine blocking is to let the computer animate the in-betweens. Step blocking is to set the major poses, right? So far I only did the side, right? So this is just a rough pass. So I can go in here and again finesse in more details with the toes in my second pass, right? So let's say I'm gonna go in here and maybe I want to make the hang time longer, right? So I want to make it a little bit cartoony. So the hang time is located here. Okay, here. I want it to stay a bit longer, right? So I want to extend this further a bit. So maybe one frame from here and extend one more frame here. Okay, so the hang time is where the highest peak is, so that when I play it is it'll be a bit more cartoony, so you can see that it stays a bit here longer. I can even make it even more, right, depending on the style of animation. So I play again. Right, so you can see that the guy kind of stay here a bit before it drops down, right? So I'm not entering the polishing yet. Kind of maybe the timing, like I can tighten it or extend it, right? So I'm gonna go in here to add the toes. Okay, so over here, this guy is a bit too high, right? So remember not to overstretch on the IK. So I'm going to lower him. Alright, so it's not floating on the ground. Okay, so make sure that the legs are not sliding. Okay, so I'm going to add the toes now. So you can see that here I can rotate the toe, add more detail to the poses. Okay, so you can see that this leg is lifted up. I can do a little bit of drag. Right, so you can see now I'm adding some detail to the motion. Right, so I added the toes. Okay, so be careful of the IK overstretch. We'll go ahead and fix this. Go sliding on the leg. So I'm getting some detail now. Okay, so if you recall your bouncing ball, again, we want the arc to be of a nice arc. So I'm just going to make sure that they are flattened. Okay, so I'm going to again work on the toes. Okay, drag the toes. Remember your pendulum. Make sure it's not sliding. So in the end, it's just another walk cycle. Like it's just going to take a step. Okay, so this is just a first pass for me because I've not actually worked on the front view, right? So I just want to get the side view roughly the mechanics is there, the timing is there. I have not worked on the toes of the other leg. So this is just my first pass, right? So after I'm done with the side, probably I'm happy with it, then I start to work from the front. Okay, so I can continue doing the toes, but I only did one leg, so just make sure that it's not sliding, right? So some of the graph here, I need to clean up the animation. Here. Okay, so roughly I'm happy with the side. I'm going to start working on the front. So go to the front view and start to, again, with all the information that you had from the walk cycle, like when the leg is lifted up, which part that you need to tilt for the leg to lift up, right? So for this guy, if this leg needs to drag to the back, so I need to get the root to rotate to the side, right? So if you don't rotate, the leg cannot lift up. Okay, so again, before you push to there, we need to again be wary of the mechanics of the human body. So for the root needs to shift the opposite way before the leg can be moved. Okay, so once the weight is transferred to the other leg, then the root would go back. Okay, so I'm just cleaning up and trying to understand the mechanics of the body. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm also doing the pole vector for the knees. Right, so obviously the knees needs to be straightened. Okay, so I'm trying to animate to the root so that most of my keys are in line. So again, same as your bouncing ball, right? So the lowest point again is squash. So we need the knees to be spread apart. So the hang time, usually the knees needs to spread apart again. If you recall the bouncing ball principle, the ball goes back to its original form at the highest peak. Okay, so since I'm here, I'm going to also animate the other leg, the knees. Alright, so I've added some detail to the front. Right, so some weight shift. Right, so when each step is lifted, the root needs to go the opposite so that the leg can lift up. So same principle as the walk cycle. Alright, so it takes a few steps before it ends. If I look at the side, we reduce the rotation here. Right, so this is just my blocking pass. I can go a lot more deep, like cleaner, and want to make sure all the mechanics is even better. Right, so this is just the first pass, and then you just need to work on the front also to get all the legs twisted and the knees. So you can see that when this guy rocks back, the legs needs to spread. And then when it's jumping, the knees need to spread apart, right? Because it's at the highest point, it becomes very small, right? So like the ball, it becomes very small. And then as it jumps down, the knees comes together again. And then at the end, it's just a walk cycle. Okay? Just off the camera. Okay, so this is the first pass blocking. Okay, thank you.